This is a story about a hidden trail in Pine Hollow. Not many people know about this trail because it's not on any map and locals warn hikers away. They say you'll walk forever. So when I heard the rumors, I scoffed at ghost stories. I'm a practical person, so the more mysterious a place is, the more I want to go there. And this was my chance. One crisp morning in September, I woke before dawn and poured myself a cup of coffee. There was no time to waste. I grabbed my backpack, a camera, and a roll of bright orange plastic tape. I drove to the town of Pine Hollow, which consisted of a gas station and a convenience store. No one was awake yet. I knocked on the door of the convenience store. No answer. I tried the gas station. Same thing. I pulled out my phone. There was no service here. No one would wake up for hours. The trailhead was supposed to be near the west entrance to Pine Hollow, not far from the old paper mill. It was an abandoned industrial area, overgrown with weeds and fallen concrete. I parked by a rusted sign warning trespassers and headed into the woods. The rumors were true. The trail was not on any official maps and showed no signs of recent activity. It looked like no one had come this way in weeks, months maybe. The sun dripped through the canopy, dappling the forest floor with light. As I walked, I could feel my anxiety lifting, replaced by a peaceful quiet. I took a deep breath and scanned the trees. Something was different here. The light filtering through the leaves looked different. The shadows seemed deeper. It was unnerving, like being watched. I dismissed it as nerves. After 20 minutes, I arrived at the trailhead, or what would become my trailhead. Two ancient pines bent together, forming an arch over a narrow path. It was perfect. I tied bright orange tape around the first tree, my marker. I walked. The forest was silent, save for my footsteps on the damp earth and the rustle of leaves. Every 100 yards, I tied another strip of tape to a branch. I didn't expect anyone to find my way today, but I wanted to mark the route just in case. An hour passed, then another. I stopped to drink water and check my phone again. Still no signal. That is when I saw it, a piece of orange tape fluttering ahead on the left. My tape, the knot tied the way I tie knots, a little off-center. My heart thudded. Maybe someone else marked the trail. I walked on. The forest seemed to lean closer. I found another piece of tape, then another. My water bottle was half empty. The sun hung in the same spot. The air smelled of pine sap and damp earth. "Hello," I called. My voice came back to me, delayed, muffled. I turned round and started back the way I came. Tape markers fluttered past. Fallen logs, mushrooms, clusters of ferns. They all swam together in a green blur. I was disoriented. Then I saw the arch. My first piece of tape hung from it, beckoning. I was back where I started. A laugh echoed softly to my right. I spun. Someone disappeared behind a tree. "Who is there?" I demanded. A man stepped out from behind the trunk. He wore my boots, my jacket. His face was mine, but pale eyes sunken. "You scared me," he said. "How did you—" "Why?" sputtered, unable to tear my gaze from his face. "Took you longer than me," he said. "What are we? Where are we?" He smiled, tired. "This," he said, gesturing to the forest, "is a loop, a snare. Put a path that feeds on itself." He pulled a strip of tape from his pocket. "I left these." He walked toward the arch. "Do you know how to get out?" I asked desperately. He paused. "You could ask her," he said, nodding toward a woman emerging from the trees behind him. She looked like me too. Same hair, same scar on the chin. "Turn back while you can," she mouthed. "I don't want to scare you," the man said, turning back to me. "It's best you leave now." "Why?" I whispered. "To warn the next one," he said. He reached down and picked up a leaf, turning it over in his hands. It was the same type of leaf I'd clipped to my backpack, a mile marker from Pine Hollow. He handed it to me. "If you don't," he said. I clutched the leaf, my fingers digging into its stem. "What happens if I do not?" He looked at me with pity. "Then you keep walking, forever, until you are like me." He turned and melted into the trees. She followed. I stood there holding a dead leaf, watching them go. A sudden gust of wind made the trees sway. I felt a twig snap under my foot. A bird startled into flight, flapping loudly overhead. The forest sounded alive. I dropped the leaf and ran. I stumbled through the trees, branches whipping at my face, leaves scratching my arms. I burst into a clearing, collapsing on the soft earth, gasping for breath. I lay there listening to the sounds of the woods. My heart thumped against my ribs, echoing the distant calls of unseen birds. The wind rustled the leaves, whispering secrets I couldn't understand. I felt a presence watching me, unseen eyes tracking my every move. I closed my eyes, burying my face in the soft earth. I knew I wasn't alone. When I opened my eyes, the arch stood before me. The two trees framing the entrance to the woods seemed to have grown closer, pressing in on me. The once inviting path was now a dark gash in the underbrush. The orange tape was gone, leaving only the ghosts of its memory clinging to the branches. Panic surged through me. I had meant to leave a marker, a sign for others, but in my haste I had forgotten. Now the path was a maze without a guide, a trap. I was trapped. Each step took me deeper into the labyrinth of trees. The sunlight filtering through the canopy grew dimmer, as if the forest itself was closing in, sealing its embrace. Fear tightened its icy grip around my heart. I forced myself to stop, to turn around, but every direction looked the same. The towering trunks were a monotonous gray, their roots a tangled mess at my feet. The forest was silent except for my ragged breathing. I sank to the ground, defeated. I knew I wouldn't get out of here on my own. The woods had claimed me, body and soul, and now I understood the purpose of the loop, the snare. It fed on fear, on the desperation of those lost. It thrived on our loneliness, twisting it into a companion, a spectre that never left our side. I was trapped in a nightmare from which there was no escape. The forest was my prison, the trees my jailers. I huddled beneath a sprawling oak, its branches a skeletal canopy overhead. The night was cold, the wind whispering through the leaves like a dirge. Fear gnawed at me, sharper than any tooth. I cried out, my voice swallowed by the woods. I don't want to be here, I whispered to the uncaring trees. I don't want to walk forever. The forest offered no solace. It was a black pit of despair, bottomless and unending. I spent the night there, curled in the fetal position, my face buried in my knees. Dawn crept in, grey light filtering through the canopy. The forest stirred, and I knew I wasn't alone. Footsteps crunched on the leaves. A twig snapped. A bird took flight. I lifted my head, my eyes wide with terror, searching for the source of the sounds. I wanted to run, to hide, but my legs felt heavy, my body locked in fear's embrace. Then I saw them, 2 figures emerging from the trees. They were the same as me, lost and alone. Their eyes held the same terror, the same desperate hope. I wanted to call out, to warn them, but my voice failed me. They walked toward me, their faces pale in the dim light, their eyes hollow. They were me, or rather, reflections of my own despair. They were the forest's latest victims, drawn into its embrace, destined to walk its endless paths forever. And as they approached, I knew my fate. I was the loop now, a part of the forest's grim design. I would stand here and watch, my spirit bound to this place, forever warning, forever lost.